Hello everybody and welcome to Radio Hot Pole, playing you the same song every 3 minutes for the next 3 hours. How you doing? Welcome. I hope you're all well. And it's time to do a mix. It's our Monday mix stream. I can't even say the word Monday anymore. Hooray. How is everybody? Welcome. I'm your host, Adam Steele, and today we are going to be hopefully finishing, as best as we can on headphones at least, the mix for this song Saviour by Maysetto. And then we'll be looking at moving on to starting the next song, because there's a whole album of this. And some of these are a lot more interesting in terms of their instrumentation and arrangements. This song's quite a straight ahead, 2 guitars, rock song. But yeah, we're going to look at this today. We did the reamping in the first session. We did all the timing and all the tuning in the second session. And now we're going to do what I call the Chris Lord algae moment, which is where we ride the faders and we put the nice processing on to make it sound. So let's run the intro and then get going. Okay, make yourselves comfortable. Everybody come into the chat. Make yourselves at home. I'm making myself at home with my usual old-fashioned cocktail. Feel free to drink along with the stream if you are of legal drinking age and if you want to. Nobody's forcing you. But make yourself comfortable either way. So, first thing I'm going to talk about before I hit play on what we have already is that I've been playing around with this setup today. I'm just going to go back to the big camera so you can see. A lot of this has changed, and you can see this thing flickering away in the background. Sorry about that. That's a refresh rate problem, because in England, our cameras all refresh at 50 hertz, and so does the mains. But for some reason, this Arturia audio fuse, which I have stolen from Studio A, is running its LEDs at 60 hertz. Which is it's a pain, it's annoying, but there you go. But that is connected. I'm just turning my vocal down a touch. That's connected to pretty much everything you see in this setup. I've now got a Captor X in there, a Captor 8 and a Cab M. I've got a Tech 21 Landmark 300, favourite bass amp ever. That's why I bought another one. Axe FX, which we're not using, but I've also, of course, got the Rev, the 5150, the Mesa Dual Rectifier Road King, the Marshall 1978 JMP, and at the moment I've got the Hayden HGTA up there as well. So I'm going to flick back, and what I did is I was getting the whole system set up, and I was using this song as my test case. And while I was doing that, I was cycling through the different amps and found some interesting results. It turns out, before I play that, the Marshall that we used in the very first stream, I had accidentally been running, and this is always something you have to watch out for. I'd been running this solo guitar through at the same time, so it had kind of mixed together and blended together. So if you can hear that high, that's not supposed to be on there. That's this track. That's supposed to be separate. So what we should have had was this. That's the Marshall on its own, with a slightly different setup. I think I had the Earthquaker plumes in front of it. But I tried out the Marshall and I decided I didn't like it when I came to redo that. It doesn't quite fit right for me. I mean, it sounds good, and you can hear that definite clang, that definite Marshall kind of Green Day American Idiot clang. It is, without a shadow of a doubt, a Marshall. But I also, yeah, sounds like tracks bleeding, but it was that I genuinely just had the DI of the other track not muted, which I didn't hear at the time as we were feeding it through because I'm an idiot. But yeah, I thought I'd give this Hayden a run for its money, and it sounds very different. It sounded quite good. Then I gave the 5150 a go. And that I was really quite impressed with. And then I tried the Rev. And I think in the end I settled on the 5150 as my guitar tone there. Quick question about the plumes. How do I think it compares to a tube screamer? Very different indeed. I much prefer the plumes because imagine a tube screamer with the chains off. It doesn't hiss like tube screamers do because it doesn't use an op amp. It has a mode where there is basically no clipping at all, which for heavy gain, when I just want to kind of thin the channel out and boost it with a mid hump, it's amazing. That's exactly what I want it for most of the time. But I also found that the drive modes on it are quite useful. Yeah, really like the plumes. It does the tube screamer thing in metal better than a real tube screamer does it, because it's actually a different design, really, when you get down to it. But it does what I like. So, yes, the 5150 on its own doesn't sound very impressive. But combined with the dual rectifier, which had a much more scooped tone and a much brighter top end, I found that the 5150 there filled the low mids out in a very pleasing way, but still had definition further up, but not at the ultra top, which is where the where the Road King was taking that space. So between them, they sound like a huge kind of symphony of guitar. So I've switched from a Marshall to an amp that was based on a Soldano that was based on a Marshall. So there you go. Make yourselves at home, everybody, because now's where things get a little interesting. So things sound okay. Now, let's get them from sounding okay to sounding really good. This is where we start to kind of, what I would call superhuman our drums and our guitars and get our bass sounding. The bass is probably about there, actually, because it's already got Unfiltered Audio's bass mint and a nice compressor going on. Might do other things to it, don't know yet. But yes, I've got our vocals to really make them stand out as well. Automation, of course. So the first thing I'm going to do is turn everything down. That sounds really silly. Oh yeah, the neural stuff's really good. But I'm going to take, say, the drums. I'm going to take the first plugin here, and I'm going to turn down the volume by a significant amount. Hi, Scott. Scott's telling me I'm doing it wrong. Yeah. Okay. So let's hit play. In fact, no, you know what? I'm not going to do that. I'm going to do it right. I'm going to take a little bit of time now to turn down all these outputs. So output gain -10 on the kick. output gain. So there's no makeup on this snare, so I need to take that down by 10 dB so that we're in a reasonable ballpark. Because right now, everything is absolutely slamming. I'm going to take the transgressors and everything off the toms because the toms need the most work. The overheads, that's got way too much gain on it. Room. There we go. And that talkback's at -9. Probably need that to be even less. Let's turn the headphones up. Let's see where have I left that. That'll be on here. Ah, right. Yeah, so I need to turn that up. Turn that up to maximum. Apologies if that's not very loud. Right, so I've got, with my mastering and my drums being driven on tape. Oh, let's link that again. Now, what I should have done really was go into Superior Drummer, turn the master volume down by another 10 dB, and that would have sorted everything out. And you know what? I'm going to do that. It's a bit crazy. It means I'm going to start again, really. But with my drums at -14, that sounds like it's going to be super quiet, but I'm going to bring everything up quick enough. So... the reason is I'm building this all up to a reasonable level. So if it seems quiet, then yeah, don't worry about that. There we go. That's all sounding pretty big now. Right, so I've got the kick, which needs a good kick in the kickings now. Right, there we go. So let's bring in the hats and ride and just fade them in as needed. Into the drum. Sorry, that was really deafening. Why is that ride so quiet? Ride, where are you? There we go. Let's actually get some volume out of you. Because the volume here seems quite loud, but... there we go. Right, so what I probably do want is to absolutely go mad on these toms. So there we go. Can Resamplematic do drum replacement with addictive drums? No idea. I know that Reaper's gate can be triggered to send out MIDI notes that can then trigger any drum sampler of any kind that takes MIDI, which is all of them. That could work. But yeah. Let's take this George of the Jungle here and let's EQ this floor tom and compress it so it's got some smack. There we go. That's coming out super loud, but that's what I need to hit this compressor really hard. I'm going to make it a VCA compressor because those are snappier, and that's what I really want. That's starting to get there. Now there's a wom in this floor tom that I need to get rid of. There we go. Add some more low end. Loads of top. And there's still a paperiness. I'm honestly not really happy with these toms. What we're going to do is replace them because we went through all the ones from this kit in that first session, and they didn't do what we wanted. So we're going to look at adding something from a different instrument. Search for instrument. Let's try darkness. Not authorized, you'll say. Let's have a look at authorize the Rock Foundry because that's what we're using right now. Anyway, let's go with the Progressive Foundry then, see if there's anything here that works. That's probably it. There we go. The 9x12 DW collectors, which means if I stick with the same set, 9x12, not 9x12. Progressive Foundry. Why is it giving me just further down, right? DW collectors. DW collectors, where are you? Ooh. That one and yeah, that one. So that's DW collectors, that's DW. Oh, we've not EQ'd that at all yet. So that. Let's just make sure that these are headed towards the right outputs. I'm going to assume that they are, because routing is always complicated with this kind of thing. Yep, cool. There must be a bit somewhere that's got a floor, a rack tom. Mostly used in there. Actually. Let's start by just copying the floor tom settings over to the rack rack tom. That does it actually. Maybe a bit more level on that, just so it really cuts. Yeah, that's getting there. Did you notice there was a ba-bum, ba-bum, ba-bum? So, that's sounding great. Yeah, that ba-bum, ba-bum, ba-bum on the kick drum. There's a few extra little taps in here with it being on an E drum. So I'm going to show you a little cool trick here, which is the filter. So I'm going to turn on the filter here and go event type note. Velocity, let's say high 40. So anything below 40 and everything in the entire performance now, if it was lower than 40 on the MIDI, is highlighted. So I'm going to select all these kick drums that are down there and just delete. Actually, what I could do that's a little fairer is mute them, just in case we ever need them again, because now they won't play. All the ghost notes and things like on the yeah, all the ghost notes and stuff on the toms, I'm going to leave them in. But now if I turn the filter off, it's all still there. Now that snare sounds good. It's a little bit too, what's the word, real. Turn it up a little so it really hits us, but there's still something just missing. So this is where snare trigger comes in, and this is what I would do with the real kit, not because I can't get good sounds with real drums, but because when we're talking big mix, triggered sample reinforcement blended in, and I know it's a bit of a dirty word, it can do extra stuff that a real drum can't do. It can have so much high end or so much low end that you cannot get out of a real drum, because when you try and EQ it to death, it just won't. Let's see, why is this taking so long to load up? Nope, move. Let's just go to camera for a second so you don't end up seeing all of my details. There we go. Oh, last time I used Trigger 2, it worked perfectly well. What's going on, people? Let's sign into iLock and make sure that's not the issue. Oh, there it is. I don't know what that was about. But this is the new version of Trigger, so it might have been, yeah, just going a bit crazy. So, I don't know what that's about. But, oh, where's my, there we go, we're not on, that's why. There we go. I'm probably going to use either the Andrew Wade ridiculously big snare with its room. Let's try that and just trigger that by sending the snare audio over to this. Aceman says, do you ever render MIDI drums at some point when you need resources? No, I spend money on a more powerful PC. And I'm not just saying that to be flippant. I'm not just saying that just in, the way that I work, I hate freezing things. I hate rendering things. I do it when with at the very end of a finished project, so that we've got something when we come years down the line, we've got the samples. But I very much like, even near the end of a project, to be able to hear something, dive into something like MIDI and just change it without having to undo and redo and refreeze and rechange and, you know, having to go through a whole process. I like this to be as agile as possible, which means I do need to pay for more powerful machines, but it's worth it for me because it means that, you know, time is saved. Time being saved at all points trumps anything for me. And yeah, let's listen to this snare in context. Let's just turn these down and bring them up. Not bad, not quite what I'm after. I don't think Andrew Wade was the one I wanted. It might have been Billy Decker. Clear. Backroad snare room is probably it. Yeah, that's good. This song's probably too quick to use the small town. I'm gonna drop them in anyway, just to audition it. I'll just mute these three. Yeah, that sounds too big. That just sounds fake.
Again, I'll be down. I'm me on the inside of you. You're me on the inside of me.
Ah, right. Okay. You can all hear double hits because you can hear the loop back. Apologies, everybody. That's just a weirdness on here. Right. Okay. Got it. I was trying something out earlier because I'm now using, instead of the Audient, I'm using the Arturia Audio Fuse, and I've been trying to get it so that you can hear what I hear. I'm just going to mute that and open this one instead and try that. So you can hear that, because then when I'm live reamping anything, you'll be able to hear what's on this mixer here at the same time, which is live direct. Let's try that. The tricky part is going to be that when I do that, you're not going to be able to hear things unless it's processed, which at the moment, because of the way that I'm using SonarWorks, or Sound ID References it's now called, that will be fine. But when I switch back to VSX, when I inevitably get those back, that will sound really weird to you. That will not sound right at all. So I'm trying to find a way using the routing in here, but it might have to be that you hear is USB 3 and 4 and these. It just means I can't hear what you hear at the same time. So I might just have to do the software monitoring like I've always done. So that avoids that problem. That's sounding really good. Let's get a kick trigger in there now with a ridiculously overblown. So I'm going to send the kick over to the kick trigger, and we're just going to listen to that for a second. There we go. Well, that sounds ridiculous because I've got snares going on there. Now let's go into these drum shots again and see what I've got. Audition. Nope. There. That might be it. That is not it. That is absolutely not it. Let's try back road again.
You think we're friends? Guess again. I'll be down. I'll be on the outside of you. You'll be on the inside of me. Before you know, clocks will turn. I'll be down and you'll...
Sounding pretty good. Now let's get these.
You think we're friends?
Not getting much out of the hi-hats. I want more snap on the hats, and they're quite quiet. So I'm going to pull out the Infinistrip again, and I'm really going to crunch up these hi-hats. And really scoop out the low end on that.
I'll be down and you'll say I will be free. Yeah, I said that I will be free. I can be a savior, savior. I could have been a ship danger, but you would never notice me at all.
Right, what's happening, and let's turn off the vocals a minute, is that kick and snare triggers sound great, but they're so much louder than everything else. Perceptively, we're losing everything. So let's turn them down and bring them in slowly. Right, so one of the things I'm going to do is I'm going to crank the volume going into this snare trigger so it's a bit less sensitive and a bit more just slam slam. Right, that's not quite right because we're getting more. Is there a... Yeah, there's a gate. Let's get that in there. See if there's a... Right. Also, that compressor is compressing way too much. Yeah, I'm starting to have second thoughts on this. There you go. Got time to give a 30-second speech on the reactive EQ on Infinistrip. I can give you 5 seconds. Not used it. Don't know it. Apparently it's an EQ and you put it on stuff and it reacts. That floor tom might be a good time to use it actually, but let's try that. Right, what was I looking at? I've got close ambient, far ambient. Let's try a different. Oh, the toms are off in that. Let's try the toms in here. That's better. The floor toms were kind of in the wrong space for the ambience. Rumbly around 120, how dare you? How very dare you? That's a shelf. There we go. We probably don't need as much low end as my mind tells me I need. There we go. Those hi-hats are too loud now. That's fine. We'll take them back a bit. There's definitely some sort of rumbly honk in the bass as well. You know what? That bass isn't quite doing it for me, but tell you what I do have now that I didn't have before. Let's just rename that bass DI, make a new track, and turn on the landmark. Da, 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 da. Let's see what happens if we run it through my bass tone that I made. There we go. Let's get that turned on. Unmuted. This thing is amazing. It's basically 2 real Sans amps in one. Let's also plug the output of the reamp box into the front of the landmark. And let's see how this sounds. So I don't want to hear the bass TI anymore, but I do want to send it out of hardware 5. Right, that sounds fantastic. I'm going to do that with it so you can hear it. Just mute that. And yep, that's the landmark. So let's just bring it back in here. There we go. When in doubt, mangle it with Mammoth. Yeah, but I've got the kind of the real thing now. So it's got 2 channels running in parallel. One's a Sansamp that's running super clean like an Ampeg SVT, and one's running with the drive on it. So like here's the clean channel, and here's the drive channel, and together let's just record that in, and let's see what happens with our compressor on that. Just zero out the EQ. Yeah, that's going to be nice. Let's hit record and hear how that goes. Was really quite present, so automation to do, definitely. Yeah, some pretty good tones there from the reamp. All right. Now that sounded a little bit more, even with the LA2A compression on, that was quite lively. That's going to need some sort of limiting on it. Where the other one... Let's turn the level of the drive channel up. We don't want that. We don't want that. No, we don't. So, yeah, with the amplitude that we had before, we didn't need any kind of... what's the word? We didn't need any kind of limiting on it because the amp just kind of didn't have too much life to it, whereas that... That just needs a little bit of something, is it? What limiters do I have? Because I don't really want to use wave stuff if I can help it. Let's go with the Brainworks limiter. Doesn't have to be the True Peak one because it's just for bass. Ooh, XL. That's nice. Don't need any gain boost. Yep, I like that. Simple enough. How do you have spectral peaks on a per item basis? Good question. Not supposed to. I think that's just because this project is so old, ridiculously old, that spectral peaks wasn't a thing back when this project was made. I'm quite sure I could find wherever it is. Oh, spectral? No. I know you can do different things per items. Not that you'd want to in most cases. I mean, if I go to my usual peaks display settings and change it, it'll now regenerate all spectral peaks for the old stuff. Mentioned in Discord, don't give all your money to waves. I mean, is there something you should know about them? Yeah, all their plugins are out of date and they're desperate for your money, but not for anything that, you know. Waves aren't bad inherently, but the Waves update plan is inherently terrible. They let you use your software for a certain amount of time, and then after a while, they're like, we don't support you anymore. If you want updates, give us more money. Hello, Argentina. Hello, Jesus. Yeah, also the Waves E channel strip, it's okay, but if you use any from anyone like Brainworks, you will literally go, wow, this is what I've been missing, because I have had the Waves E channel strip since not long after it came out, and I paid a lot of money for it at the time. And at the time is the important part, because that was over a decade ago. That programming is over 10 years old. It was designed to work on computers from over 10 years ago. So although its CPU demands are quite low, they did that by not putting in some of the fine detail under the hood that we have in the newer ones, like the Brainworks ones, which are designed to have more of this harmonic richness and realism at the cost of a bit of CPU, which we can easily afford now. So, yeah, it won't sound bad, but then you'll try something newer in its place with the same settings, and you'll go, my mix came to life, what is this? That's what I've found anyway. There we go. Now, from this is the drums and bass. I want to get the master compressor just twitching now on the drums and bass, because that's got most of the transients that I'm going to have in this mix. Yeah, like Aceman said, there are some Waves plugins that I still use, but it's only the special things that that, yeah, or you know, to dial them in quickly. There are certain things that Waves plugins do that nobody else does, but every day more and more of that gets taken away. Like I'm going to use some of this old unfiltered audio saturator right now, and let's just see just how little of this I need on this really nice clean real Sans amp. Didn't need that on the kick, but Joel's kicks maybe? That might be what I'm after on the kick. Let's just try taking the high end. Oh, there's nothing set on this transgressor at all. Let's just stop the high frequency push on the real kick. Nope, don't like it. That's better, yeah. Right, on to proper, quote-unquote, proper mixing now. Because the drums sound good. Bass sounds good. Now it's time to pile on the effects. Or at least get the effects ready to be piled on if we want them. We're still using the JST Skybox as the plate reverb here, which has been nice. Now I need a big plate, and I'm going to use lustrous plates, because this thing is a whole different ball game. So I don't know if let's go with large dark vocal, beryllium plate, sure. Okay, so yeah, as I was saying, big plate, lustrous plates. I'm gonna add a little bit of snare to it. Where are you? And I'm gonna add in, so I've got a mono delay. What's that? being fed from? That's from the solo and the vocals. I'm going to need my small room trick, which is from Verb Suite Classics, which is another Slate plugin, and I use Come On Brain, you can do this, come on brain. BM7 Rooms Studio B Close, which isn't the shortest, but let's just add in, let's just listen to the drums as they stand. There you go, loads more transient on that. Vocals, no, yes. Yes, no, no, yes, yes, no, yes. Let's bring in the guitars now. We're taking the plate away and we're adding in that small room. That's way too much of it. Let's just try this in with the bass and drums and see what EQ we actually need now. Starting to sound good. So it's a little tiny bit of compression on the guitars, but mostly for the flavor of the LA2A and not the actual compression. I reset the EQ here, and I might have to tweak this a little bit as we add the vocals in, but that Neve high end is just so sweet that just adding in just a few dB rather than adding all the top end on the amps is a lot nicer to the ear and doesn't have that scratchiness that an amp's treble can cause. So that. Oh, so good. At this point, I'm going to add in the black box on the master, but I've got the posh HG2MS version now. Woo-hoo-hoo. And this can do mid-side. I'm honestly not going to do that. I'm going to turn on air, turn on saturation, probably balance the pentode and triode, and that's about it. That's good. That's sounding wicked. Wicked. Now I'm going to close down a load of these folders because I'm never going to look in them again. And actually, now the decision's been made on the amp choice. It's 5150 for Kyle's parts and the dual rec for Tom's parts. I'm going to shove all those unused ones at the end. And someone did ask in the previous, on the comments of the previous video, the DIs of the guitars, would it be better to edit the DIs of the guitars? And my answer at the time was, it doesn't really matter. But no widening or mono maker. Nope. I don't touch them if I don't have to. If there's no problems, don't do it. You're only causing yourself problems. Non-color tracks are triggering me. Ah, well, this is how I roll. Sorry. So as I was saying, you don't have to edit the DIs first. I did find that because I reamped them several times, I did have to go back and edit the DIs to match. So I did that off camera and edited them to match the reamps I'd already done. But then I thought, top tip, good thing to know if you need to edit DI tracks, put a virtual amp on them if they're heavily distorted tracks whilst you edit. Doesn't have to be good. Don't spend any time getting a good tone. Just put a distorted guitar amp on it whilst you edit, and those transients and those fall-offs and those noise in the gaps will become evident to you very quickly, and it'll speed up your editing process. Then when you're searching for the perfect tone, turn off that virtual amp and do what you were going to do. Then tone hunt, then look for the thing. But separate, you know. So, yeah, separate. I'm liking the sound of these guitars, but there's still something I can do to it, and I can't put my finger on what. Virtual tape machine. That might be the answer here, actually. Just before the transforms of True Iron, using the 456 on 15 inches per second, which is, and 2-inch 16 track. That's the sound of 70s guitars. That's how you would have run them. So let's see what difference this makes. It's probably going to sound a little darker. Louder for sure. What does a virtual tape machine do? It means you don't have to use a real tape machine. Tape in itself is well known for providing a certain saturation, but not like a compression. It alters the tonal characteristics a little bit, but not really like an EQ. It's more of a dynamic thing. It's got a certain tonal property that engineers like, but running real tape is such a pain in the ass that it's not really worth doing it in the real world unless you've got infinite amounts of money and an engineer that's got more patience than a saint. I worked in real tape when I was a young engineer, and I will never do it again unless someone pays me a silly amount of money to do so. Aceman says, yeah, 456 is on his desk. It sheds, yeah. And I know there were certain batches of 4, 5, 6 that need to be baked in an oven just to be played back to transfer. So yeah, good luck with that. Yeah. Let's bring these vocals in. Probably similar with the vocals that we want a tape machine for them all to go through. And so that'll be a very similar setting, but probably the higher headroom tape, 30 inches per second. Yeah, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to run a much drier vocal, I think, and really get those mids in your face.
You think we're friends? Guess again. I'll be down. I'll be on the outside of you. You'll be on the inside of me. Before you know, clocks will turn. I'll be down and you'll say, I will be free. Yama said that I will be free.
That sounds good.
I can be a savior, savior. I could have been the ship to your sea to keep you safe from danger, danger. But you would never notice me at all.
Suggesting a cheap or free way of getting the tape sound. This is not meant to sound horrible. Google it. I haven't kept up with what is the de rigueur in terms of cheap and free versions of tape emulators, but they are out there. They are easy to find. Just search VST free tape emulation, see what you get. I used a plugin called Ferox way back when, and it's probably comparatively terrible now. So if you find something that works for you, let me know. I'm going to put DSs on each one of these vocals, not on the group bus, that was just the wrong place, but just even before soothe, just to really clamp down. Let's see how that sounds. That was side chaining, just to listen to it.
You think we're friends? Guess again. I'll be down. I'll be on the outside of. You think we're friends? Guess again. I'll be down. I'll be on the outside of you. You'll be on the inside of me.
There we go. I can still hear the S, but it's not offending me now.
You think we're friends? Guess again. I'll be down. I'll be on the outside of you. You'll be on the inside of me. Before you know, clocks will turn. I'll be down and you'll say, I will be free. Yeah, I said that.
I'm going to replace this FG Grey with something a bit more aggressive. Today I'm drinking an old-fashioned made with Jim Beam, Angostura bitters, cane syrup, 2 maraschino cherries, and an orange peel. Cheers. I'm going to replace this with a different compressor. What do I have in terms of compressors? I know Arturia have sent me some stuff. Let's try this stay level. That's a bit of a mad choice, but let's just see.
You think we're friends? Guess again. I'll be down. I'll be on the outside.
tune the vocal. Yes. Episode 2, the previous one to this, we tightened up all the timings of everything and tuned everything. So if you've not seen that, check that one out.
You think we're friends? Guess again. I'll be down. I'll be on the inside of you. You'll be on the inside of me. Before you know, clocks will turn. I'll be down and you'll say, I will be free. Yeah, I said that I will be free. I can be a savior, savior. I could have been a ship to your sea to keep you safe from danger, danger. But you would never notice me at all.
That's sounding really good. Did you notice when it got to the chorus, we sort of lost the vocal a little bit? That's something I'm going to fix with automation at this point, because there's also another layer now to go in at the chorus. I'm just going to mute the vocal again for a minute while I look at this. Because there's this layer, and I added, while I was playing around earlier, a micro shift, which is kind of like the Eddie Van Halen-y, big, kind of pitchy. The kind of mid-80s Def Leppard-y thing. The skybox sounds lovely on there. But I think I might get rid of that off there and use it just as the send, because it's already on a send. That is a very scratchy sounding guitar. I might have to dip a little bit of that scratch out. There we go. So only 1 dB off, and suddenly it sounds a lot softer. And I've got rid of everything under about 200 hertz there on this because it's a supporting instrument. It doesn't need low end on this. So let's bring this in under the other guitars. There we go. So yeah, really cutting that down so it just stops as everything else stops. You might say now, oh, that guitar, I can't hear it stand out the mix. I can't hear it as a separate element. But that's fine because that high mid space where it was before is going to be occupied by the vocal.
I can be a savior, savior. I could build a ship to your sea.
Which still needs its level pushing a little bit, but that's okay. We're going to do that.
I can be a savior, savior. I could build a ship to your sea to keep you safe from danger, danger. But you would never notice me at all.
Right, now I wanted a big delay, which I'm going to use on the chorus vocals, because that's another thing. Twitch stream saying the video download was cancelled. Twitch is being a bit weird right now because we're streaming in 1440p. So yeah, I've asked them about it and I've not heard anything back yet. Now let's get ourselves a big delay, and I do like to use Echo Boy for my big delays. And so let's just listen to this.
I can be a savior.
Let's just listen to the delay just for a minute.
I can be a savior.
So this needs to be a quarter note ping pong. Probably an echoplex or something like that, because I like a big thick. There we go. So that's way too loud. So let's let it fade. It sounds nice though. And let's just listen to it.
I can be a savior, savior. I could have been the ship to your sea to keep you safe from danger, danger. But you would never notice me at all.
There we go. So what I think I'm going to do is automate this specifically to not even be on at all, apart from the big parts of the choruses. So if you listen to the verse,
You will be free. Yama said that I will be free.
just take those plates down there.
You will be free. Yama said that I will be free.
And that should D, 4, 5.
I can be a savior, savior. I could have been the ship to your sea to keep you safe from danger, danger. But you would never notice me at all.
That sounds nice. That goes on far too long. It needs less feedback. And also there's a kind of a hump in the EQ, which I'm not too fond of on the delay. So I'm going to take that down a little. That
You will be free. I could have been the ship to your sea to keep you safe from danger, danger. But you would never notice me at all.
Andre says, is there a tap function on Echo Bar? Yes, there is. I don't use it because I use it tempo synced locked to the grid. But if you take it off the MIDI, which is the tempo sync, you can lock that to whatever you like.
You think we're friends? Guess again. I'll be down. I'll be on the inside of you. You'll be on the inside of me. Before you know, clocks will turn. I'll be down and you'll say, I will be free. Yama said that I will be free.
Sounds like the side vocals need to come up a bit.
You think we're friends? Guess again. I'll be down. I'll be on the inside of you. You'll be on the inside of me. Before you know, clocks will turn. I'll be down and you'll say, I will be free. Yama said that I will be free. I can be a savior, savior. I'll be on. I can be a savior, savior. I can be a savior, savior.
Right, so this extra element here on this solo group is too loud because the whole mix is jumping up in like... I want the mix to go up in excitement for the chorus, but there's too much where you notice it and it's offensive, so...
I can be a savior, savior. I could have been a ship to your sea to keep you safe from danger, danger. But you would never notice me at all.
That needs to go off there.
Meant to be a family, but composition's the only thing that you see. Now we know who we both should be.
So at that point, I need to push my vocals up.
The only thing that you see. The only thing that you see. Now we know who we both should be. And now we know just what to do when all we know has fallen through this way up. Turn my ground and keep my mouth shut. Through this way up. Turn my ground and keep my mouth shut. I can be a savior, savior. I can be a savior, savior. I can be a savior, savior. I could have been a ship to your sea to keep you safe from danger, danger. But you would never notice me at all. You'll take away this time today, but just you know that I'm okay. Watch you say. I could have been the shit to you say.
Right, I'm not going to have the delay on that a little bit.
I could have been the shit to you say.
So that's a lot drier. And also this solo here. At that point, I do need to take off the micro shift that's on there. That's on here, is it? Yeah, micro shift. Because it's not supposed to be all Eddie Van Halen at that point. It's supposed to be much more of a feature. So micro shift bypass, we will automate that to be off there, and we never see it again in the song anyway, so let's see how that fits in the mix. Might be a bit much.
Notice me at all. So take away this time today. But just you know that I'm okay. Watch you say.
And also, I'm going to add in on that solo guitar, ascend to that big delay. Let's have a listen from here.
At all. So take away this time today. But just you know that I'm okay. Watch you say. I can't.
Yeah, and I'm going to have to automate that not to be on most of the time. Send delay mute. Mute all the time apart from there. There we go.
But you would never notice me at all. So take away this time today. But just you know that I'm okay. Watch you say. I could have been the shit to you say. So take away this time today.
Too loud.
So take away this time today. I can be a savior, savior. I could have been the ship to your sea. I can be a savior.
You know what? That last chorus is missing this solo, so I'm going to do something I never do, and I'm going to copy paste.
Savior, savior. I could have been the ship to your sea to keep you safe from danger, danger. But you would never notice me at all. Savior, I could have been the ship to your sea to keep you safe from danger, danger. But you
Scotty Glover says, do you offer a pop punk mix template for Reaper? Nope, don't offer mix templates of any kind. I don't believe in them. Mix templates are stupid because mix templates assume that you are being given the same thing every time, and invariably you are not. Which means that you look at them, you listen to it, you go, this doesn't sound like I wanted. What do I do now? And you're back at square one, so it didn't help. What do you mean no sound?
Guess again, I'll be down.
Can see sound on the meters. Unless something weird has happened. Anybody else? Can everybody hear me okay? Because my meters say that that's a thing. That everybody should be able to hear me, so... anyone? Maybe it's on purpose I stepped out to adjust the thermostat. No, everybody should be able to hear me. So, yeah, it seems to me like maybe your speakers have turned off, Al. Yeah, mixed templates are honestly useless. Because mixed templates not only never teach you how to mix, but if you've been given different source material than the person who made the template has, it won't work. It just doesn't work. All right, cool. Thanks everybody. It was just Al having an issue. It works over here, but I'd rather that everybody told me that things don't work when they don't work, because that means I can fix things quickly. All is good here. Thanks, everybody. Right, okay. So I'm losing little bits of the drums. I'm finding that the guitars are needing balancing. So those are the next automation points that we've got now. Let's hit V for volume on the lead guitars. Got the rhythm guitars too. Yeah, Aceman's saying a template from one song to another for some projects, and I do that, but after I've done the work on song number one, because it stands to reason that if you're working on an EP or an album for a band, they should, if they're sending you tracks, or if you recorded it all, be fairly consistent for that session. Consistency helps. If a band sends you something that sounds completely different to the first track they did, the template won't help you anyway. Andre makes a remplate for every project. T. I knew what you meant. Right, so let's start at the start here and just listen through and see what we can't hear or what we've got too much of, and just start with volume balancing at this point. Right, so I want more of that.
You think we're friends? Guess again, I'll be down. I'll be on the outside of you. You'll be on the inside of me. Before you know, clocks will turn. Before you know, clocks will turn. I'll be down and you'll say, I will be free. You ever said that I will be free? I can be a savior, savior. I could have been the ship to your sea to keep you safe from danger. I never noticed, savior.
I'm going to do something a bit weird. I'm going to turn that guitar down at the chorus. Not because that's what I would usually do, but because at this point I've got the extra guitar coming in to fill that gap. So it's already coming up a level, so I don't actually need the other rhythm guitar with all that high end to take that space anymore.
I will be free.
take this middle section guitar down by a dB, so when it hits back in, it really hits back in. Right, let's go back to the start. You see all this wibbly wobbly automation we ended up with? That's because we used our ears. There's a few little volume slides in there which I don't remember putting in, but as long as they sound right on the guitars and slowly bring things in, that's okay. Let's just listen now to... I might need to bring out some mid character. Yeah, I'm just going to stop streaming on Twitch until that's fixed, I think, because as long as I'm on YouTube, that's fine. Yeah, let's just turn off Twitch. There we go. Done. All right. So, yeah, everybody watch on YouTube if you're going to watch, because that works. Okay. That fixed. Apparently we're live on Periscope too, but I don't know if that's actually working. Yeah, I'm going to put something on the drums just to bring the mids out a little bit. What do I need on the drums? Is it the red that I want? The FG red? Yeah, I think a parallel compression there, just with a bit of makeup gain because it's pumping like hell. Let's see how in the mix, how the drums now jump out at us.
You think we're friends? Guess again. I'll be on the outside of you. You'll be on the inside of me.
that hi-hat is at the back now, so I'm going to push the gain back again on that hi-hat.
And now we know just what to do when all we know has fallen through this way up. Turn my ground and keep my mouth shut. I can be a savior, savior. I could have been the ship to your sea to keep you safe from danger, danger. But you would never notice me at all. You'll take away this shine today, but just you know that I'm okay. What you say? I could have been the shit to you say. So take away this time today. I can be a savior, savior. I could have been the ship to your sea to keep you safe from danger, danger. But you would never notice me at all.
Almost there. There's something about the vocal group that I don't like.
I can be a savior, savior. I could have been the ship to your sea to keep you safe from danger.
Let's see, what have I got going on these? There's a lot of high frequency push, which I actually don't think I want on specifically the backing vocals. Let's give them a 400 hertz push, which is weird, but because I want them to sit in a different space to the main vocal, that might just work. They might be a bit loud, so let's turn them down by a dB.
I can be a savior, savior. I could have been the ship to your sea to keep you safe from danger, danger. But you would never notice me at all.
So now the main vocal sat more in the upper mid, so I've just turned it up a tiny touch.
I can be a savior, savior. I could have been the ship to your sea to keep you safe from danger, danger. But you would never notice me at all. I can be a savior, savior. I could have been the ship to your sea to keep you safe from danger, danger. But you would never notice me at all.
No, I'm going to have to get rid of that stale level because I'm enjoying the saturation from it. I'm not enjoying the overly aggressive glue. Let's use the red compressor on the vocals then. Drive it quite hard. 2-to-1 and just fast and just see what this does.
I can be a savior, savior. I could have been the ship to your sea to keep you safe from danger, danger. But you would never notice me at all.
That's what I was looking for. It was nothing to do with the echo timing, Andre. That's the thing you could change. That's a personal thing. I know. Let's go from the start. Excuse me.
You think we're friends? Guess again.
It's like someone was sucking on a lemon.
You think we're friends? Guess again. I'll be down. I'll be on the inside of you. You'll be on the inside of me. Before you know, clocks will turn. I'll be down and you'll say, I will be free. You ever said that I will be free? I can be a savior, savior.
that LA2A is compressing the main vocal far too hard because the distress has already taken care of it. Let's go back to the start and just regain this a bit.
You think we're friends? Guess again. I'll be down. I'll be on the inside of you. You'll be on the inside of me. Before you know, clocks will turn. I'll be down and you'll say, I will be free. You ever said that I will be free? I can be a savior, savior. I could have been a ship to your sea to keep you safe from danger, danger. But you would never notice me at all.
There we go. Just a bit less compression and that's dealt with it. And now the backing vocals can be at unity because they don't have that high frequency bump now and they don't have, you know, an overbearing characteristic. So they can be a bit more Beach Boys-y unity, but without being overly present.
We're meant to be a family, but composition's the only thing that you see. Now we know who we both should be, and now we know just what to do when all we know has fallen through this way up. Stand my ground and keep my mouth shut. I can be a savior, savior. I could have been a ship to your sea to keep you safe from danger, danger. But you would never notice me at all. So take away this shine today. Just you know that I'm okay. Watch you say, I could have been a ship to your sea.
Just put another de-esser on the master vocal bus and see if that helps.
So take away this time today. I can be a savior, savior. I could have been a ship to your sea to keep you safe from danger, danger. But you would never notice me at all.
No, it's not the tuning either because we went through and we melodined the whole thing. It's just a tonal characteristic thing. It's entirely possible that your ears just don't like it. Although I am going to take the vocals down by a touch. The chorus backing vocals and just leave them up in those little punchy bits. Da, 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 da. Just over a dB. And let's go back to the start. I've turned my headphones down now, so let's just see what stands out from the start. is really spat. So
The only thing that,
there we go. That's nice.
the only thing that you see. Now we know who we both should be. And now we know just what to do when all we know has fallen through this way up. Turn my ground and keep my mouth shut.
Oh, right. At this point, the vocal just it's missing a little something. I'm tempted to do what I call the Brandon Flowers with it, which is having a tape that just slaps back just a little bit of it. If you listen to the whole Hot Fuss album by The Killers, it's got a very specific thing going on. So I'm going to use this. See if I can get this. No, I need to do this on a separate track. So I'm going to call this just slap and send the vocal out to said slap. And put J37 stereo over there. Now,
Meant to be a family.
delay. That's what I want to hear.
Meant to be a family, but competition's the only thing that you.
Bit shorter than that.
Meant to be a family, but competition's the only thing that you see. Now we know who we both.
Now, here's the other trick. Unlink them and make one slightly longer.
Meant to be a family,
how big is that?
but competition's the only thing that you see. Now we know who we both should be.
Now, I don't need nearly that much of it, so let's turn it down.
Meant to be a family, but competition's the only thing that you see.
Let's see how that sounds in the mix and see if that's too much.
Think we're friends, guess again. I'll be down, I'll be on the inside of you. You'll be on the inside of me. Before you know, clocks will turn. I'll be down and you'll say, I will be free. You ever said that I will be free?
That's giving me the depth I was looking for.
I can be a savior, savior. I could have been a ship to your sea to keep you safe from danger, danger. But you would never notice me at all.
More of that lead guitar, please.
Notice me at all. We meant to be a family, but competition's the only thing that you see. Now we know who we both should be.
Yeah, that's got it.
And
The best thing is, this was an album track. This wasn't even like the lead single or anything like that. This was just one that almost, got no attention because this was an album track. When we get to the real big hits, then the earworms will really take hold of you. And then, oh boy, then we're off. But yeah, I think we've started to get some tones that we're happy with. So Kyle's parts, 5150. This is going to be slamming -9. Well, right now, honestly, this is like half of that. So yeah, Tom's parts, channel 3 of the Road King. Kyle's parts, 5150. Declan bass player, the Tech 21 Landmark 300. And we've got some really cool stuff. That some of the tracks that are going to be coming up have really nice ear candy, which are probably going to go through the Axe effects as well. So, yeah. Thanks, Mike. Yeah, balanced sounding in your car. That's high praise if ever there was any. But yeah, I mean, this is the point where if I had the VSX, I would be comparing different rooms. But alas, that being broken, that shall have to wait. Let's just try this then. I'm going to turn this down a little bit for everybody, and I'm going to use the True Peak limiter from BX and just slam this just because I can, just to try it. So, warning everybody, this is going to get a bit loud.
Again, I'll be down. I'll be on the inside of you. You'll be on the inside of me. Before you know, clocks will turn. I'll be down and you'll say, I will be free. You ever said that I will be free? I can be a savior, savior.
Sounds pretty good. Now, Alex Anders in chat. I've never seen you in chat before. Firstly, we don't do backseat mixing on this stream. This is me showing you how I mix. I'm a professional mix engineer. and it's not like a Twitch plays. Secondly, this isn't the full master. This is just the mix as it stands at this point, and we don't do negativity in here. Feel free to ask questions, like saying, if you phrase that as, the kick drum is a little light on the bottom, is that meant to be like that? That's a fair question. Coming in here and saying X is weak, no, we don't do that. Oh yes, the delay on the epic guitar note, yeah, it is good. Thank you, Rashan, for that positive comment. You are very welcome. I mean, yeah, so maybe the kick drum could do with a bit more low end, but I don't want to blow it out at this point. Especially because I'm not mixing on my primary mixing system. This sounds good enough to me at this point. There will be revisions before. If this was a mix for a client, and this just happens that this series of stream is me just mixing for fun on something that I did years ago, if I was going to send this to the client, I would definitely be listening on other systems and making sure and double checking and just testing everything before sending to the client, because I don't, and I'm guessing that you don't at home, have a 5-figure monitoring system with subs and fully treated rooms that you're in front of right now doing the mix. Maybe you do, but chances are you don't. And so your monitoring system is just as fallible as mine. So keep that in mind. It's funny when people say, oh, I can't hear this, I can't hear that, I can't hear this, and then someone else in chat says, well, I can hear it fine, and someone else says, wait, it's way too much. You do what you can. Yes, I'm using SonarWorks on these headphones. Yes, it's good. No, it's not perfect. VSX is great, but my VSX system is currently broken in the box, waiting for the replacement to come out. So I'm doing what I can and showing you my methods, whilst using a slightly limited system. And of course I have my fully treated room at Studio A with the nice monitors and the subs, and almost ready to do a tour of the new studio setup. That's going to be exciting. So yes, can I make it sound like Billie Eilish? What, put loads and loads of sub in and just make Tom mumble? I mean, I like Billie Eilish, but this is not that. So I'm going to hit save on this and open a new tab, and we're going to start work on the next song, which is going to be a song called Pirates. I'll leave that file offline. Pirates was the opening song on the album, and editing bass was lots of silence. Yeah, on a phone, of course it will be. So this is going to take a while to load up, but when it does, this is where we're going to start making a template out of the first track and porting that across and starting to reamp what we have. That's on Glenn. This is also probably desperately trying to... Oh, you're kidding. This song and probably some of the others on the album, this is all on my Dropbox, and it's decided that some of these need downloading, despite the fact that I told this that it was supposed to be an entirely local folder. That's irritating. So that's going to take a while. Any questions while we wait? Because that's going to take a good couple of minutes, he says. I mean, our internet here is pretty fast, so it shouldn't take stupid amounts of time. But still, raptor noises. Yes. Questions. 60 seconds. That's how long it takes for me to say things and for you to type. That's a new song I've been working on. Thank you very much, everybody. If I own Slate Drums 5.5, can you give me a reason to finally buy Superior Drummer 3? The sounds on Superior Drummer 3 are incredible. That's why. The cymbals sound real when you hit them 20 times in a row. Superior Drummer works a lot more like, if you get to grips with it, a lot more like dealing with a great drummer in a great room. Slate drums, I love Slate drums, but it's pre-processed so that it sounds great out the box, but you get what you get to a large degree. The cymbals were always an afterthought, if I'm being brutally honest, with Slate drums, because it was more about getting ridiculously big sounding shells and snares and kicks. And so, yeah, Slate drums sounds huge, but might not fit what you're working on. Superior Drummer is real to all intents and purposes. That does mean there's a lot more work involved in getting it to sound the way you want it to sound. All the old waves plugins coming out the woodwork here. Oh boy. But yeah, if you do have the skills and practice to do things where you can get everything to sound exactly the way you want it to sound, Superior is, to coin a phrase, superior. Right, so Pirates has 2 sub drops, which I'm going to have to replace. I'm just going to copy this entire drum. You know what? Yeah, so I'm going to copy the drums up to there wholesale, and I'm going to include all the effects at the same time. So I'm going to copy all this lot and paste all this lot into Pirates. What headphones am I using? HD 650s from Sennheiser. Right, so this is all in here now. I can delete that MIDI out because that's the MIDI from Savior. Don't need that. And the effects can go down to the end. There they are. And delete the old effects folder. Click is already pre-muted as it should be. So our new effects routing is all there. All our vocals are there and are going to need everything stripping off them. I might even put the backing vocals for this song in their own group because they're not kind of backing vocals in the sense of like Beach Boys. They're all that kind of thing. DIs. Ooh, so I've got Tom's DIs. I've got one DI from Kyle. That's weird because I've got some. Ooh, okay, so those are all in 88.2K, so they can go because that's just weird. At least, yeah, so they can all go. Because if I do use anything, I'm going to use the sound from the head capture. So let's bring the drum MIDI. And I'm going to just boop that across and delete that. So now we should get. There should be a drum click button somewhere. Maybe the Rock Foundry doesn't have the stick clicks. I might actually have to sample them from the original album mix because originally the album started with a 1, 2, 3, bang. That might have to do. Come on, it's gotta be something. Let's just go with C5. Let's just move them to... Right, let's filter these kicks out again because I can already hear a bit of bob, 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 bob. So velocity 40, kick, remove. That should make it much cleaner. How am I quickly deleting the plugins off the mix? So hold down the Alt key and click. And click, click, click. Hold down the Alt key and you can just click on things and they magically disappear. Isn't it wonderful? Ain't it grand? So let's just make sure Snap's on. I'm going to delete a load of the blank space at the start of the song because I can. And now we've got... Going to delete those as well because I've got the... Even though I don't have the DI for that particular guitar, I do have the head capture, and so if I can find it, where are you on the routing? Tom Extra, that's the one. So I can add something like wall of sound on top of that because that is a perfect sound of... Ooh. I'll update that later. Oh, why are you giving... Come on. I mean, you all knew when my birthday was anyway because of the celebrations, but... Let's play that again. There we go. Fairly decent sounding guitar part now. Probably going to cheat and send a little bit of that out. In fact, another thing we're going to do is just have one less track and just have that there, and that can come out of the master and delete all this crap off the guitar group. Send this to the slap. There we go. You want to set the mix to a client with DI guitars by mistake. If someone sends me DI guitars, I'm happy. Because it means whatever terrible guitar tone they tried to conjure up, I can just get rid.
Sea is not for one. Range the ship that I once sunk. You could be the one for me, like the friends that we used to be.
Cool. Right, so this is going to be a little bit weird because, oh, yeah, so I've got...
Well, I guess things change over time. You're a friend I once called mine. We could easily sail, so maybe...
So they're really loud, sorry about that.
Well, I guess things change over time.
So for now, at least, I'm just going to unmute all these guitars, and for now, again, I'm just going to copy that wall of sound across so we've got something to work with.
Well, I guess things change.
Ah, right, okay. They were supposed to be there. Yep. Bye Guitar Group. Let's see how that sounds.
Well, I guess things change over time. Every friend
I mean, that's not perfect, but it's a start.
well, I guess things change over time. Every friend I once called mine. We could easily stay so maybe I'm from yesterday broke free.
Oh yeah, so that is definitely this bass. I can hear from the tone of it, that is the absolute raw DI of this guitar before it had its electronics swapped. So that bass is this bass nearly a decade ago. But yeah, it sounds really weird and honky, but once we run that through, and I'm going to turn back on the landmark and just run this through, because I can. So I'm going to turn Alt-click to turn on the routing to turn this off so it doesn't go through the master. Add a hardware output through line 5, which is my reamp box. And just check my meters. Oh yeah, I'm on mute on the Sans amp. Right, so I can hear that. You can't. So let's bring in a new track. I'm just going to skip back to Savior quickly, and I'm going to copy all the effects off this because I can. What was the volume? Minus 1.36 and no automation. Fantastic. So I'll just copy that minus, close enough. Paste effects. Record. I think it's from input 6. And yeah, it's on solo, so I can't hear it. Cool, let's just run the bass through and have a listen through the song as it stands, because this is Pirates, unmixed.
We always say, yeah, maybe I will be free. Well, I guess things change over time. Yeah, a friend I once called mine. We could easily stay, so maybe I'm from yesterday, broke free. Well, I guess things change over time. Yeah, a friend I once called mine. We could easily stay, so maybe I'm from. Well, I guess things change over time. Yeah, a friend I once called mine. We could easily stay, so maybe I'm from yesterday broke free.
Yeah. At some point, the drums should have hit a China in there. Filter's still on. Let's turn that off.
It moves so.
Right, so that one, that's left crash. So that's also left crash, right. With the whole song running, you can hardly hear the lag on the reamping. Yeah, it's weird, isn't it? Yeah. It's only when you really focus on timing that you really start to lock into those things. Yeah, so let's just see if I can firstly switch this out for China. That one. And open the MIDI mapping. Learn note. That one. Yeah, that's cool.
Well, I guess things change over time. Yeah, a friend I want.
Let's see how this one sounds with the bell.
Well, I guess things change over time. Yeah, a friend over time. Yeah, a friend. Yeah, a friend I once called mine. We could easily stay, so maybe.
Right, so the vocals are strident, shall we say, but I think they were recorded the same way, so let's copy everything that's on the vocal track, apart from Melodyne, which I will have to do separately, and just paste that onto the verse, chorus, and chorus 2 effects. Although I can hear a slight hissing, that means I can turn the landmark off now. Oh. Keep doing that. There we go. Pew. Bass sound, so you could hear that. Pew. Oh, right. Where am I up to? Vocals, micro shift is what was after to go on the second chorus vocal. Yeah, so that's slightly pitchy vocals, but it had all the emotion. So let's get the vocals down by 2 dB. Get all that lot pasted in there. looks like I automated instead of cleaning my edits because I was being lazy at the time. Noted.
The sea is not for one. Raise the ship that I was sunk. You could be the one for me.
So that main vocal was going to the slap, and everything else, plate -8, big plate -12, plate -8, big plate -12, slappity slap from the vocal itself. And what level did I have it at? -10.6. And copy that across.
The sea is not for one. Raise the ship that I was sunk. You could be the one for me, like the friends that we used to be. Raise the ship, then fly away, like we knew we were.
Let's copy the stuff from the master chain across, because that'll be affecting ours a little bit.
The sea is not for one. Raise the ship that I was sunk. You could be the one for me, like the friends that we used to be. Raise the ship, then fly away, like we knew we would someday. We could easily set to shore, like we own it. Well, I guess things change.
Right. Can you copy a complete VST chain to a next project? That's what I've been doing. You can, if you want, go to effects and go to the effects and copy selected effects, or save the effects chain, add entire effects chains. You can paste the entire effects chains or just one or two, but that's how I've done this in such a short space of time, and I'm doing it between two project tabs. So I'm going from that one to that one, bang, 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 thank you, bang, 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 done, punch, 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 bang, 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 bang. Hey, now looking at the DIs from the Kyle guitar, I'm gonna guess that the Kyle 4 stuff is, because this has got 2 takes on everything. If I copy this down here and then just hit Shift T for, Shift T for previous take, should have done it. Right, so well, let's just pull this open. So
The sea is not for one. Raise the ship that.
So if I make this that take, and that's only one, but yeah, if I make this, that, and this, that should give me the 2 complete guitar performances where I was being lazy and recorded the DIs on one track by the look of it. Timing's slightly off there. Let's just put that back in. All sorts of fidgeting and horribleness. Right, I'm going to just bring in just the drums and bass. Gonna move the old bass out of the project all the way to the end, just so we're not dealing with it anymore. And we're gonna bring these DIs, Tom delay DI. There's nothing on that, so away it goes. I think we had an idea at the time that just got thrown away. So I've got these lovely head versions, which I'll definitely need for this extra guitar. Just move everything around, but they are now superfluous because we have our original guitars. And I can see, oh, hopefully they're different. Good old reliable Tom made the same mistake twice. That's what Tom was like. If he was going to make a mistake, he would make the same mistake several times. But then if he got it right, he would nail it in a single take. That's kind of how his brain worked, which was a bit weird, but worked. So this song will be perfect because there's a lot of jug, 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 jug. To use the cock blocker gate. Right, so first things first, let's start with these two and get the drums and bass. Solid. Next. Don't like that rung. You can actually hear on the DIs there's a lot of bottoming out on those open Ds where they were hitting it, it was going brrr and wasn't perfectly in tune. These days I would be far more particular about that, but at the time it wasn't the thing I was listening for. So now, yeah, I'm super on, like, that's out of tune. We need to find a way to do that in tune. David, ooh, there's an Audient Nero on your desk. There's an Audient Nero. There's an Audient Nero on my desk too. Not this desk, on the studio desk. New studio tour is being filmed very soon. So I'll show you all about that. But yes, I got one because it now works with my workflow. There's some dirt. That all needs just cutting. That's all ahead, and I want it to be back with just push it all back a little bit. Whoa, the tuning on that. Oh boy. Oh no, believe me, there is no Melodyne or Polytune or anything that's going to fix that. That is what we call out. But in the mix, you don't actually notice. That's the thing. People are far too particular these days. about, oh, it's got to be perfectly in tune. It's nice when it's perfectly in tune, but quite often it doesn't matter. Right, so they're not in time with each other, which really makes it stand out. So let's bring this one back. Let's get the click on. Yeah, that is the metronome. Where's that supposed to be going? Yeah, play metronome through monitor effects. Right, let's try that again. Right, so you're late, massively late. There we go, let's try that. That should be back that way because it's supposed to be swung. And that one's way out. Copy that silence over and see if that covers it. Don't know what happened there on the drums. Well, I'm glad I heard that. Cool. So that's those guitars nicely timed in. Now let's turn those off and turn the others on. You particularly are ahead by a lot. You are rushing, my dude. Oh, what did I just do? Just double clicked and hit an entire thing. Never done that before. You're massively ahead, but the other bit wasn't. Okay, that was a new thing. That woodpecker sound, that's a metronome, yeah. Okay, so they need to come forward by a significant margin. Weird, but okay. Interesting fact, if you're editing things like guitars like this, make sure if you do make a cut that you take the right hand piece and crossfade backwards from that, because then you're editing away from the transient. So you're actually bringing in more of the ring of the previous note, so it's not an audibly noticeable cut. There you go. Move that, see if that does it. Move that all back a little bit. Ooh, those two are nowhere near in time with each other. That one's miles out. Back in time you go. And then that's where we kick back in, so that's where we edit to. Any reason you're not putting an amp sim on the tracks while editing? Just because I can hear where the edits are already. I mean, I did say earlier in the stream that that's a good thing to do, is put something on, but I can hear where the hit points are. If it got any cleaner than this, if it wasn't stab, 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 then I would put amp sims on, but I'm intending on sending these through real amps any minute now. So the fact that this has got nice stabby transient content means I don't need to do that, which makes it slightly redundant. If it was a much more complex thing without such a very defined rhythmic element, I probably would need some sort of distortion on there. I can also see that one of them gets much louder, and if I remember rightly, that one had a tube screamer on it. Yeah, I'm not going to have a slide on there. I want it to just stop. I definitely don't want a pre-hit on there. So that can come right in. That's starting to get a bit pushy. I can even see it even as I hear it. I can even hear it going bwah, bwah, bwah. And what I want is da, da, da. Ba-dow, bow, ba-dow, bow, bow. Starting to get a little fast there. Let's just push them back, get them in the pocket. Oh, there we go. When I can start to hear them almost ping pong off each other, I know the timing's a mile out. Like that is supposed to be better. You two are late. I can definitely hear that being really early. Those were bits that I could hear in the original recording on reflection years later that I know I should have got rid of. Little jangles and clankles. Nobody cares about your realism. They care about it sounding good. And that's where that should have stopped. Tick, 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 tick. Nope. Early. Do not want. Let's just cut it all, make it all on the grid. Thank you very much. Much better. Tick, 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 tick. Way too early. All of you. Get out. Get out. Let's just bring that right in. And that one's early. sounds rushing. And that's where it starts to rush. So back you go. Tick, 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 tick. Din, din, din. Okay, and if I unmute the others, that should. Sounds much better, even though it's just a pile of DIs. Fantastic. So let's prepare these DIs. Could you pitch shift the high guitar and the higher parts by a few cents if you wanted to? Yeah, if I wanted to. Don't want to, but I could. I could go in and I could, what's the word? I could diatonically separate the whole thing out and then tune it, but I want to stick to the source a little bit. I mean, if I was really, really, really that bothered, I would just get the original guitarist back in and get him to do it again properly. Not that bothered. This is just an exercise in self-indulgence in this entire series, because, to be honest, these guys are not, like, massively into it. Hello, people in chat. Hello, Gianluca. Welcome, welcome, welcome. So, now that we've had all these come in, so now I'm going to make a guitar group. And I'm just going to have 6 tracks made into 2 folders. So I'm going to call these just Tom 1, Tom 2, Kyle. Because I was using rhythm and lead, but these guys are so interchangeable with it all, it's irritating. So I'm going to go to line 3, and the first thing we're going to do is mute all the DIs bar 1 just for safety. I'm going to have that one turned on, so that's now blasting out of line 5, which would be blasting out the landmark if that was turned on. So I'm going to have, big stretch, and I'm going to turn on one of my amps. Let's just swing this round so you can hear what I'm doing a bit better. And the first thing I'm going to do is take this reamp box signal and feed it into my Earthquake plumes, which is set quite nicely with the gain on 0, tone and level in the middle, mode 2, which is the one that doesn't introduce clipping. That did have a power cable plugged into it earlier. There's a power cable. Oh, the internal power supply fell off. Oh, right, okay. That's a pain. That's a big pain. It's a medium pain, that's a small pain. There we go. Can't be that big a pain. There we go. So that's now powering the plumes. The plumes is on. And let's get that plugged into the front of the Mesa. How do you make the folders look like that on the mixer? On the mixer, we go to right click on the master, and there's a button, clickable icon for folder tracks to show/hide children. And that gives you little buttons that you can make things bigger and smaller. And as far as I know, theme for version 6 of Reaper does this stepping thing automatically. As long as things are in folders. Yeah. Pretty sure that's all I need to do. Show tracks that are in folders, show folders. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's all I have to do. So back to the camera, the other thing that I have to do, have to do, is make sure that one thing I didn't bring home from the studio on my last studio visit was my labeling machine. Which means that I have to currently pull a speaker cable for each one of these and trace it and take it back in. Oh, Jesus. That made me jump. That's just some LEDs have become disconnected. There we go. It's that, that's why. I think. Go on. Yeah. Go on. I'll do that later. This is more important. So I plug this into the back of the Captor X. And I turn on the amp and get that going. Oh boy. FX Loop 2. I beg your fluffle pardon. There we go. I was going to say I don't want FX Loop 2 turned on. Oh, block drains. Oh, awesome. I got waylaid earlier today with my washing machine doing very similar things, so it's not just you. Now, let's hit play. Helps when the amp's on. And now I have to hope everything works. Where's the torpedo remote software? Just to make sure, because that's now on. Connecting to torpedo. Yep, that's on. First check, has Ivy been messing around? Because that's always a possibility. Next step. Right, okay, so. Make sure that that's coming out of the right speaker output. Gotcha. That sounds oddly doubled. Power just went on the torpedo. Is that just that the power supply fell out? Yeah, the power supply fell out. Okay. Oh, but the captor was still connected and that was still safe, thank goodness. So. Right, so let's open the captor and just turn the volume down on that. Right, so yeah, my washing machine didn't do a little dance today, but it threw up an error code and it turned out there was a filter that I didn't even know was in the machine that was clogged full of guitar picks and pound coins. I mean, pound coins, woo, guitar picks. You know, cool as it is, I've got enough guitar picks, including Hot Pole Studios branded ones. So back to the screen cap. There we go. So I've got this DI coming out of here, out of line 5. So it's going out of that through the plumes, which is probably off now. It's annoying. Turn that on. Let's listen to that now, see how that sounds. With that now soloed and with Tom 1 turned on. It does make me laugh just how little difference that makes on a dual rectifier. I turned the presence from full to none then, and it was just like, whoop. I might send some Hot Pole Studios pics out at some point soon. We'll see. Ah, right. So firstly, that sounds weird. Let's just extend that a bit. And secondly, let's get the blocker, the cock blocker pedal from our good friend, Mr. Man. The man. Ah, there we go. Turn on. Ah, now I need to turn it on. There we go, and by doing that across all the other guitars, that should give me a much clearer image. So I'm going to go back to the start and run this again. There we go. Much cleaner with the gate on it before the amp, because the gate just cleans up the pre-gain. Like the sound of that bass. I'm so glad I bought the Landmark. Yeah, just to answer Andre's question in chat, David's right. They're not like VCAs. Folders are... they're an organization system, but they're also like a group bus system. So like these two tracks of guitar will go up through here and the sound can be processed through there. Then they go up through the guitar group and can be processed there as well. I'm using Superior Drummer 3 for drums. So it's mostly using the Rock Foundry. And with Tom's stolen from the Progressive Foundry. Oh, and the floor tom's actually from Darkness. Interesting. Oops. But there we go. Yeah, all the cymbals are from the Rock Foundry apart from this one. China's from the Progressive Foundry too. Now, I need to make sure that the old DI is turned off and the new DI is turned on. Now these Tom 1 and 2 can be panned. These are going to be slightly out of time because of the reamp software delay. But let's see how this sounds. Helps when you choose the right input. Nice. So John Luke is asking, do I use a small room or a short plate on guitars? Quite often I do, but not at this stage because I need to be able to hear very clearly what's going on right now. But if you look at this is the control for the Torpedo Captor X over there, and this is what I've been using. And there's a tiny little bit, 9% of Studio A reverb already kind of baked into these tracks. And I do that on purpose, and it's just enough to just add a little bit of something. Now, let's switch over to the amp called Kyle, which will be using a 5150. You can really hear the fan screaming away in the Road King, because that's got 150 watts of the valves in the back, plus 2 power tubes. It's just a row of valves. It's ridiculous. So let's get it turned off. Beast. Get the jack out of there and into there. Come on, one of these two. He's not like the other. There we go. Eventually I'm going to get an amp switcher in here. But for now, I'm being cheap. So this is what you get. It's 5 minutes of waiting. Oh boy. Still going. What is sleep? Oh, yeah. Octo, yeah. Yeah, so that's just the camera, unfortunately. That's the... if I switched it so that it was flicker-free at 60 hertz, the other lights would all go crazy. So it would look a lot worse. Now, let's get this PV turned on. Now, I'm using the green channel of the 5150 on crunch mode. Which actually sounds a bit like a heavily modded Marshall, which is frankly what it is. Let's see how this sounds. Oh, Alistair got to help his daughter move house. Well, good luck. Right, let's see how this sounds. Nice. Now, I'm just going to pause that there. They sound massively out. Now, I know that's partly to do with the 15 millisecond round trip delay, so I'm going to kind of ignore that. But I'm also going to take the threshold back on the gate just a tiny bit, just to make sure that that attacks properly. No, something's not right there. So I'm just going to take that off record for a minute and listen to this. Yeah, that's not right. Ba, 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 ba. That's a country mile away. That should be there. Oh boy. Need to get that swing in there. That's better. Now, through line 5, out the master, and record on Kyle 1 again. Good. That was much better. And yeah, like David says, it doesn't sound as good on its own. But that's okay. That's a 5150. They're fluffy, they're chunky, they're big sounding. And also those palm muting sections could have been played a lot more aggressively and a lot more cleanly. Again, I'm not going to find a replacement guitarist at this point. This is entirely for my own amusement. But yeah, something I would do if I was doing this all over again is make the guitarist do it again and again and again and again. Oh, what's the purpose of the metronome? That's right. No, the metronome should be off. Sorry. I'm so used to hearing a metronome, I just filter it out. Right, let's pan these left and right, and that should give us what we're listening for. And this Kyle guitar is going to be too loud, so let's turn it down. sounds a damn sight better than it did originally with black star heads. Blah. The black star heads were okay, but they were never quite enough of any one thing. Save. And so we can now finally mute these. Yeah, so those just, they're in red because I shift clicked them to disable them, so they're still there, so I can turn them on and off as I want. But yeah, they go red because I turn them off. Yeah, wall of guitars, check. Thank you, next. Let's just go and turn off that. And I think that is where I'm going to call it for today. Because we got the guitars in. That song now needs mixing like the previous song. It also needs the vocals tuning, but I'm getting quite tired at this point at 11:30 in the evening. So we've got all these nice R's that we need to tune our R's. Yes, so that we get good R's tune. Why is it? Ah, right. I was thinking, why does that only happen once? It's because the second time in verse 2, there's a completely different, it's like a verse 2B section. But that's fine. We'll deal with that when we come to it. So yes, thank you everybody for watching. Tune in next week. There will be a podcast on Thursday. There will be a video released tomorrow. And there will also be another mix stream, if you're interested, starting Friday. Banana Ranch are back. I mixed half of their album last year, and I'm now going to mix the rest of the album. So in pretty short order, I'm going to get their tracks together, and I'm going to do these as parallel projects, which is going to bake my brain on top of everything else that I'm doing for Riff Hard and the channel. But, you know, needs must, so off we go. Thanks everybody for watching, and I will see you tomorrow or Thursday or Friday or next week for the same time for this stream. Thanks for watching. I'll see you later. Hit the like button, subscribe, blah, 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 blah. Thank you everybody. See you later. Bye.
Hey everyone, that might be the end of the video, but if you fancy carrying on this conversation, we have a Discord server, link is in the description. We're also on Patreon, which is something you can really help us with. We also are on Facebook, Instagram and Twitter at Hop Hole Studios. See you there.